Ayahuasca has absolutely changed my life. There's no arguing with that. This medicine has transformed who I am as a person. It has shifted how I view the world, how I view other people, and the universe. However, it has not been an easy process. It has been one of the most challenging experiences of my life working with ayahuasca, and I don't regret that for a moment. In fact, I am so incredibly grateful for every single part of my journey, even the most challenging parts. And at the same time, it would have been absolutely amazing and super helpful if I could have had this sort of conversation with someone. In this video, we are going to talk about everything that you need to know to feel more prepared for working with ayahuasca. So number one, what is ayahuasca? What is this sacred medicine? Number two, who may benefit the most working with this medicine? And at the same time, who may not? And then number three, my top insights, recommendations, and tips for before, during, and after your ayahuasca experience so that you can make the most from this journey. Oh, how I wish someone had shared this with me before I worked with ayahuasca. What is ayahuasca? Ayahuasca comes from a Quechua word, and Quechua is a language that is native to the South American continent. It's actually a language that is believed to have originated from the Incan civilization, and it is a beautiful, beautiful language that is still spoken in some parts of South America today. Aya means soul or death, and huasca means vine. So the direct translation of ayahuasca would be the vine of the soul or the vine of death. And this is an ancient entheogen. It is an ancient plant medicine that has been used for centuries, and some would actually argue thousands of years, by indigenous healers throughout the Amazon basin. Countries like Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Brazil. The brew itself is made of the ayahuasca vine and the chacruna leaf. And the chacruna leaf is actually the plant that contains DMT, which is the psychoactive component that allows us to experience these altered states of consciousness when we are working with ayahuasca. So the chacruna leaf has the DMT, and the ayahuasca vine has MAOIs, which allow us to absorb the DMT from the chacruna leaf into our bloodstream. From a Western perspective or a more scientific perspective, ayahuasca may be looked at simply as a hallucinogen, and it's allowing these altered states of consciousness. We're seeing things that aren't necessarily reality. However, I really want to dig into this with you guys from a more spiritual or shamanic perspective. From a shamanic perspective, it's believed that diseases, illnesses, pain, these types of things are actually manifestations of blockages within the person. And so in order to live our most abundant and fulfilling and really authentic lives that we are meant to live, it's essential that we work through and release these blockages that we have within ourselves. By releasing these blockages, we can truly connect with the highest version of who we are. And this is where ayahuasca comes into the equation. So ayahuasca acts as a guide that allows us to expand our reality and to tap into a higher state of consciousness so that we can really explore these inner landscapes, understand ourselves better, and really recognize what is holding us back, what is keeping us from living the life that we truly want to live. Ayahuasca really works with us on healing all levels: the physical, the psycho-spiritual, the emotional, the mental manifestations of disease and suffering that we are experiencing. And she allows us to tap into these deeper levels of ourselves, assisting us to become a more whole and embodied version of who we truly are. Let's get into the top reasons to attend an ayahuasca retreat. So in other words, who may benefit the most from this medicine? Number one is if you are someone who is looking to heal or process trauma. If you are experiencing depression, anxiety, mood disorders, PTSD, ayahuasca can be incredibly supportive in allowing you to work through and shift your mindset and release any trauma that is keeping this energy stored within your system. Number two, you are looking to unlock deeper levels of self-awareness and understanding or even purpose. This was definitely one of the biggest reasons that I saw people come to the center that I worked at. And this is one of the main reasons that I started to work with ayahuasca myself. I literally traveled the world trying to understand who I was and understand my purpose and why I was meant to be here. And I see that with so many people right now. They're feeling lost, or they're feeling alone, or they're feeling unsure of the truth of who they are and why they're here. What are they meant to do? Who are they meant to be? How are they meant to serve the world and give back? And what is their purpose? And the truth is, that is within you. It is always, always, always within you. You are never lost. You are never alone. but it can feel that way sometimes. And so ayahuasca is an incredible, incredible medicine when it comes to reconnecting with that part of ourselves that we may have forgotten or disconnected from for who knows what reason. There are so many reasons that we can really become disconnected from the truth of ourselves. So working with ayahuasca is a really powerful way to understand yourself more deeply, to recognize who you truly are, what you need to work on, what you need to let go of, who you are meant to be. And so if you are someone who is looking for more understanding and self-awareness, then ayahuasca could be a profoundly powerful medicine for you to work with. Number 3 is that you have a specific issue or problem or something that you are trying to work through and you're looking for guidance or clarity. Maybe you have relationship issues that you're trying to work on, or you're trying to find more clarity about something related to your job. Whatever it is, ayahuasca can be really, really helpful when you are looking for guidance or clarity around a specific situation. Number 4, and this is a little bit less specific, but just as much of a reason to work with ayahuasca, and that is that you have the calling. You have an intuitive sense that you need to work with this medicine. The first time that I worked with ayahuasca myself, I had actually heard about this medicine for years. Probably 2 or 3 years leading up to my first ceremony, it kept popping into my radar, and I had friends that were talking about it or they had been to ceremonies, and I just knew that this was something that I needed to experience, that I needed to work with myself, and it just was never quite the right time until it was. And so my very first ceremony really came from this intuitive calling that there was something there that I needed to explore and dive into. So even if you can't put your finger on why you want to work with ayahuasca, if you have that calling, trust it, trust your intuition. And number 5, the final reason, at least that we're talking about here, to work with ayahuasca is that you are looking for deeper spiritual connection. You are looking for an understanding of consciousness, of God, source, creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it, whatever resonates for you. Most people who work with ayahuasca do report some sort of spiritual experience. So if you are looking for deeper spiritual connection, or just deeper connection with yourself, or deeper connection with the earth or with other people, ayahuasca can be an incredible medicine to support you in experiencing deeper levels of connection and love. So let's talk about reasons that it might not be the right time for you to work with ayahuasca. Number 1, if you do not have access to a safe and reputable retreat center with experienced shamans, experienced facilitators, I would not recommend working with ayahuasca right now. Please wait until you do have access to a safe center. And we'll talk about this a little bit more when I get into the insights. Number 2, if you are only doing ayahuasca because someone else wants you to, it might not be the right time, or it just might not be for you in general, and that is absolutely okay. You really need to feel ready and willing and open to working with this medicine yourself to get the full benefits of the experience. So if this is you, if someone else is pushing you towards this experience, trust yourself and wait until you feel ready. Wait until the time is right, and don't worry about what other people want. Don't worry about what other people think is going to help you. Always tap into your own intuition and always, always trust yourself first. Number 3, if you are not willing to let go, if you are not ready to surrender or to lose control, ayahuasca might not be for you. Letting go and surrender is pretty much non-negotiable when it comes to the ayahuasca experience. If you do not want to, it could make for quite a challenging experience. The times that I witnessed other people and the times that I myself had the most challenging ceremonies were because I was unwilling to surrender. I was unwilling to let go. Letting go is really essential for ayahuasca to support you in doing the healing work. And I actually witnessed participants who were unable to really connect with ayahuasca because they were so unwilling to surrender and to lose control. Number 4, if you are not ready to face past trauma. Facing past traumas can be incredibly, incredibly challenging, but it's also one of the most powerful ways that we are able to work with ayahuasca. She really allows us to witness past experiences, past traumas, from a different viewpoint, from a different perspective. And this is one of the best ways for us to be able to move through that energy and to heal and to let go. That being said, it can be re-traumatizing for some people to witness and experience these forms of trauma if they're not ready to do so. It's really important that you tap into your own energy here and be very honest with yourself. If you are not ready to confront past trauma, to look at repressed memories that may potentially come up, wait until you are ready. And you may even want to consider other modalities. Meditation or working with a therapist or different forms of trauma work may serve you better in this time. The fifth reason that ayahuasca might not be right for you at this moment is if you have physical limitations or psychological risks. Ayahuasca is normally very safe. That being said, there are certain physical and mental conditions that are contraindicated to this plant medicine. So schizophrenia, bipolar, high blood pressure, heart disease, different forms of psychosis, and additionally, certain medications are contraindicated. So if you know that you are on certain medications and you are interested in working with ayahuasca, please do speak to a medical professional and see if you can either change your medication or taper off of any medications that you have before working with this medicine. Let's talk about some tips and insights for before your ayahuasca ceremonies. Number one is to clarify your intention. Your intention truly is your anchor throughout the entire ayahuasca experience. Before you go to your ceremonies, definitely during your ceremonies, and also afterwards as you are working through the integration process. So allow yourself some time before you go to the retreat to journal about and clarify your intention or intentions. And a couple tips here. Number one is to try to be as specific as possible. So when you're in the space of the ceremonies and things maybe start to get a little confusing or challenging or ungrounding, again, your intention will be your anchor. But if your intention was written down as 2 pages, it's going to be really hard to remember that at the level of consciousness that you are experiencing in that moment. So by bulleting out your intention or intentions and just having a few key points or words or phrases, it is going to be so much easier for you to remember and hold on to your intention in the space of the ceremony. If you are not sure about what your intention is and you don't have a specific reason, a really beautiful intention that you can work with is simply show me what I need to know. And by saying show me what I need to know, ayahuasca will truly work with you and show you whatever it is that needs to be integrated, that needs to be processed, or whatever needs to be healed. And so that can be a really powerful intention if you don't have something more specific that you want to work with. Another tip when it comes to setting your intention is to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. So if you are someone who is experiencing anxiety, instead of having the intention, I want to get rid of my anxiety, talk about what you want that's on the other side of that experience. Because when we focus on something, regardless of what it is, that is what we are going to bring more of into our reality. So if you are focusing on anxiety, depression, sadness, fear, that's what you are going to attract, even if you're saying that it's what you don't want. So reframe it and talk about it from the perspective of what is on the other side. What do you want to feel? Who do you want to be? When you leave this retreat, when you finish these ceremonies, what do you want to be experiencing? Who do you want to be? And that is the basis for your most powerful intentions. My second recommendation, and we've touched on this a little bit, is that you need access to a safe and reputable retreat center with experienced shamans. And the word that I really want to highlight within this topic is integrity. Please find a center that is truly in integrity with this medicine. So what does integrity look like in the space of a plant medicine center? Number one is that they honor indigenous tradition. Ayahuasca is a very powerful medicine, and it's a beautiful thing that it is becoming more well-known, it's becoming more accessible. However, that also means that it is opening up the door and opportunity for people to really take advantage of this medicine and potentially take advantage of the people who are coming to work with this medicine. So do your research and find a center that honors indigenous tradition. And of course, the center that you work with needs to be safe. You are in a very vulnerable space when you work with the medicine of ayahuasca, and it is essential that the shamans are highly trained. Traditional indigenous shamans undergo years, decades of arduous training and dietas in order to truly become a conduit to work with the healing medicine of these plants and to be able to truly hold the space and protect the space of ceremony. You also want to be working with experienced facilitators. The facilitators will be the ones supporting you throughout the ceremony, and be cautious of centers that do not offer proper screening and support. You really want to make sure that the retreat center is offering proper screening before your ceremonies, offering medical intake calls to understand if you have any contraindications to the medicine, and also that they are offering support before the ceremonies, so preparation support and integration support after your retreat. Number 3, and this is a really big one because I feel like not a lot of people realize that this is the case, but The moment that you commit mentally or energetically to attending an ayahuasca retreat, you are going to start working with the medicine. So your spirit, your body, your soul understands that you are about to go through a really intense transformation and really powerful work. And as such, they're going to start initiating the process. And that can look like many different things. One way that this can manifest is almost like a pre-purging process. So if you notice that you are starting to feel certain symptoms, such as cold symptoms, headaches, nausea, physical changes in your body, or even emotional fluctuations, mood changes, even more vivid dreams. Just know that this is completely normal. Be as gentle with yourself as possible. Really allow yourself to rest in the days and even possibly weeks leading up to your ceremonies. And know that this pre-purging can also show up in circumstances in your life. If you have relationships or a career or different things in your life that are no longer serving you, don't be surprised if these things start to shift and start to be released before you even come to the retreat and the space of the ceremonies. There's a couple things you can do to really support yourself the most in this process, both mentally and physically. So on a physical level, there is the ayahuasca dieta, and this is essentially the different ways that you can best eat and what you can nourish your body with, and also what you may want to take a little bit of a break from before your retreat. Cleansing your body prior to the retreat is really going to support you both with the purging process in the ceremony and also just to be in a lighter space that is more receptive to your own healing. So I definitely do recommend adhering to the ayahuasca diet, and this could be a video in and of itself. The ayahuasca dieta, both before and after the ceremony, is quite specific. So if you would like a video just about the ayahuasca dieta, please let me know. I'm happy to create that for you guys. Otherwise, I am going to put some information in the information box below this video that will give you a little bit more detail about what to eat and what not to eat both before and after your ceremonies with ayahuasca. In terms of mental preparation, a couple things that can be really, really supportive. Number one, of course, meditation. Meditation is always an incredibly powerful supportive modality, and leading up to your ayahuasca journey, it is a beautiful way to really ground yourself, to become more centered, to hone in on and really focus on what it is that you are ready to let go of, what you are looking to transform, what you are looking to heal. And meditation is a really powerful way to practice becoming the witness, and this can be so supportive when you're actually in your ayahuasca ceremony, because things can become overwhelming or challenging or intense. And by being able to tap into that space of awareness and groundedness and witnessing, we can distance ourselves a little bit from the emotion or the feelings or fears that could come up based on what we are experiencing or seeing, and just observe, just witness what is happening without the stories, without the labels, and this can make the journey with ayahuasca so much easier. Before your ayahuasca retreat, also please be aware of what you are allowing into your mental space. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What music? What TV shows? And who are you spending time with? You know, are you surrounding yourself with people who are uplifting and supporting you and making you happy? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who are really bringing down your energy? Before your ceremonies is an important time to really detox and clear any negative energies or anything that is bringing you down mentally. So just take note and do your best to surround yourself with things that really lift you up and put you into that positive space. Number 4, if you do not listen to anything else that I say, please hear me on this tip, on this insight, and that is to release expectations. Chances are you have heard stories and accounts of absolutely life-changing experiences with ayahuasca. And I get it, this makes it really hard not to form expectations ourselves. I have been there, I have had those expectations, I have really thought that ayahuasca was going to look a certain way, or I was going to have some specific experience, or my life was going to be a certain way afterwards. But the thing to know here, the thing to understand is that every single experience is so unique, and no two ceremonies are going to look the same. And that is not just between you and another person, that is between you and yourself. So you may have one ceremony that looks one way, and the next ceremony could be profoundly, drastically different from the one before. No two ceremonies will ever be the same. And the experience may not unfold in the way that you think it will. Ayahuasca gives you what you need, not what you want, okay? So this is really, really important to understand. We may consciously think that we need something in order to heal or in order to become the person that we want to be, and that could just be our conscious mind thinking that we need that thing. The truth is that ayahuasca knows what we need, maybe even more than we know ourselves, because she is able to see what is buried so deeply that we have lost touch with it. She understands from a different level of consciousness and a different perspective. And that can be really, really hard sometimes. It can be really challenging to not necessarily understand why we are receiving healing the way that we are. And this is where you have to trust. Continue to trust that your intentions are being met on subconscious levels, on energetic levels, even if you don't consciously understand or receive the answers or insights that you are looking for right away. So much can be understood and downloaded and integrated in the days and weeks and months after your ayahuasca ceremonies. So please do your best, release expectations. I know we're human, it's really, really hard to do so, but I promise you that by releasing expectations, you are setting yourself up to have a much smoother and less challenging experience with ayahuasca. Number 5, ayahuasca is not a magic pill. I think a lot of people go into their ayahuasca journeys and ceremonies or, attend a retreat with this expectation or belief that afterwards everything is just going to fall into place. It's going to be smooth sailing off into the sunset, and it's just going to be all sunshine and rainbows and butterflies. Hate to break it to you, but that is just simply not true. Ayahuasca is a profoundly powerful medicine, yes, but she is not a cure-all. She is not a magical pill. Ayahuasca rewires the neural pathways in the brain, and so she provides us with a really powerful opportunity to reprogram our subconscious mind. But it is just that. It is an opportunity. It is not a guarantee. We still have to do the work to wire in that new programming in order to really create a lasting impact and lasting transformation that is more in alignment with our higher selves. Let's talk about some insights for during the ceremony itself. First things first, and I feel like a lot of people do not realize this, on the first night, especially with the first dose, not everyone feels the medicine. I saw this quite often at the retreat. Some participants didn't consciously notice or feel the medicine either at all or just maybe not very strongly. And it wasn't until that second dose or that second ceremony that they really went deep, really started to dive into their intentions and kind of tap into that deeper level of consciousness and those more expanded levels of reality. And again, this just goes back to releasing expectations. Don't stress. Don't feel like you are doing something wrong if you are not feeling the medicine right away. Even if you don't feel it, the medicine is still working with you on a more subconscious level. She is still working with your body. She is still working with your spirit. The healing is still happening. You just might not be as consciously aware of it. Another quite common misconception when it comes to ayahuasca ceremonies is that everyone has visions or visuals, and it doesn't happen for everyone. Not having visuals doesn't mean that you aren't receiving the healing from Mother Ayahuasca. Different people receive healing in different ways. Different people experience the medicine in different ways. For some people, it may be more auditory. It may be more emotional or feeling based. Release any expectations around the fact that you need to have visuals in order to have a proper ayahuasca experience, because this is just not the case. Let's talk about the purge. So yes, ayahuasca functions as a powerful purgative medicine. However, a common misconception about ayahuasca is that everyone throws up, that this is just the natural way that purging happens when working with this medicine. And in all actuality, it can be one way that you could purge. However, there are many different forms of purging. Purging could be throwing up, it could be stomach upset or diarrhea, it could be yawning, it could be crying, laughing, moaning, changes in your body temperature, feeling extremely hot, extremely cold, shaking. That's something that I always used to experience, was almost like tremors in my body when I was working with ayahuasca, and I was also yawning all the time. So just know that not everyone purges in the same way, and there is no one right way. And finally, if things are becoming challenging in the space of ceremony, if you are experiencing a scary or challenging or intense experience, a couple things that you can do. Number 1, come back to your breath. Number 2, come back to your intention. Use those words or phrases to hone back in on your why. Number 3, focus on your posture. So sit up straight, and this will allow the medicine to really work through your body in an easier way. And number 4, focus on the Icaros. The Icaros are the sacred songs that the shamans are singing in the ceremony. And by focusing on the Icaros, this can really support you in recentering and coming back to a more grounded space. Also, remember to be the witness. Some of the most challenging experiences I have ever had with ayahuasca were because I lost that connection to witnessing, and I started to create stories and labels around what was happening. It was only when I was able to distance myself and come into the space of the observer that everything calmed down and I was able to move through those challenging experiences. A few things to be aware of immediately after the ceremony, whether that is the night when the ceremony has ended or the next day. Please, please, please avoid judging yourself, avoid judging your experience or comparing it to others in your group. Depending on what you experience in your ayahuasca journey, it can leave you feeling absolutely amazing afterwards. You can feel so filled with love and connection and purpose. However, it may also feel you leaving disconnected or confused or scared, especially if your journey did not go the way you were expecting or it didn't touch on your intentions. Healing doesn't always come in the ways that we expect or even fully understand. So don't freak out if you're feeling a certain kind of way. I have, had ceremonies where the next day I felt like a total zombie and I thought that I was never going to be happy again. Honestly, I really truly have felt that way. And it was scary. It was really scary to feel so confused and unsure and doubting myself whether I had made this horrible mistake by working with ayahuasca and what if it had changed my life for the worse. Trust that with time and with proper integration, the understanding will come. The final insight is that the true healing that comes from working with Mother Ayahuasca does not end when the ceremony ends. This plant will remain with you. She will remain a part of you and working with you for days, for weeks, for some would say a lifetime after you have connected with her. In shamanism, the post-ayahuasca phase, also known as integration, is actually the most important part of working with ayahuasca. Some of your greatest insights and downloads and understandings and realizations will come in the time after your ceremony with proper integration. And so what integration really is taking the lessons and the insights from your ceremony and actually implementing them into your everyday life moving forward. Let's go through a few quick tips as to how you can best support yourself through the integration process. Number one, take some time off if you can. I understand that this is not possible for everyone, but if you have the ability to take a little bit of time off of work or a little bit of time just with yourself before you go back home, it can be really, really supportive before you reintegrate back into your day-to-day life. Number two, do things that are grounding. Meditate, spend time in nature, eat grounding foods. Whatever practices best serve you to really ground yourself will be supportive after your ayahuasca journey. Number three, avoid big decisions. This is really important because after we have worked with ayahuasca, it can be really easy to want to make really big shifts and changes right away, but please allow yourself just a little bit of time, at least a couple weeks, if not a month, to integrate and process before you make any big life-altering changes. Number four is to journal. Journaling is an amazing way to process what you experienced, to unlock deeper levels of understanding. And also, it's a beautiful way to remember what actually happened in your ceremonies. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone back through my journal and remembered insights and remembered things that came up in my ceremony that I would have forgotten if I had not journaled about them after my ceremonies. Number five is to find community and connection. You guys, this is one of the most incredible aspects of going to an ayahuasca retreat. The absolutely amazing people that you will meet, the connections that are formed, the community that you have throughout this experience, to me has been one of the best things that ayahuasca has given to me. It can feel a little bit challenging after your ayahuasca retreat to go back to friends and family who may not necessarily understand what you have been through because they haven't been through it themselves. And so by finding community and people that you can stay connected to who do understand that process, this can really, really serve you in your ayahuasca integration. And who better to support you throughout this process than the people who were there with you at your retreat? So stay connected to the other participants, stay connected to the people who you became friends with. They know and they understand what you have been through. And number six is to be creative. Ayahuasca opens up such incredible channels of creativity within you, and it's a beautiful way to integrate your experience, whether you love to journal, to paint, to sing, to create music. Find a way to express yourself creatively, and this can really support you throughout the integration process. Number seven is to take care of your body. Again, this goes back to the dieta and the post-dieta. So like I said, I will include that information in the information box below, but please do make sure to really take care of and love and honor your body and fuel it with nourishing food, move in ways that feel good to you in the days and weeks and forever after your ayahuasca retreat. And finally, the most important tip is to just please be patient with yourself and trust the process. you are going to experience ups and downs. There are going to be shifts and changes. And I mean, that is part of the beauty of life, is that it is this constant journey. It might not always feel good and it might not always make sense, and that is okay. So this is the time to be patient with yourself, to be gentle with yourself, be proud of yourself for everything that you have done, and just continue to trust at the right time with the right perspective. You will look back and you will understand exactly why things were the way they were and how they were truly leading you to become the person that you were always meant to be. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I know that there is so much more that we could cover and talk about. So if you do have questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I can make more videos around this topic about integration, about my personal experience with ayahuasca, and what I have learned from my own ceremonies. So ask away. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe as well. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.